Some students read all night, others bake all night, and today we are meeting the queen of both. Hi, Mercy.
Hi, Fatima.
What was the most challenging part of learning through videos and self-practice?
What you see online is not always true.
Can you share one major setback?
2023, I was back to level 0.
What's the hardest part about being a student entrepreneur in University of Ibadan? And how do you juggle academics and entrepreneurship?
When we suffer, there is actually no balance anywhere.
What are some of the lessons you've learned?
As a student entrepreneur, you will need help, you will need people. And secondly, most people will not believe in you until you've shown them results.
Any tips or advice for student entrepreneurs alike?
You are the writer of your story. Live in the moment. Document everything about now.
Campus Hustlers with Fatima, Zakariyya.
Some students read all night, others bake all night, and today we are meeting the queen of both. Hi, welcome to yet another interesting episode of Campus Hustlers, your weekly dose of entrepreneurial spirit unfiltered. I'm your host, Fatima Zakariyya. I am an entrepreneur, a corporate event anchor, a voiceover artist, and of course, I am a podcaster. Joining me on today's episode of Campus Hustlers is Toluwase Mercy Abiodun, a final year political science student at the University of Ibadan and the creative force behind Ercy Cakes. What began as a simple love for baking before university transformed into a thriving business on campus. Remarkably, Mercy is a self-taught baker, mastering her craft through countless videos, hands-on practice, asking questions, and volunteering whenever she had the chance. Driven by a desire to support herself through school and determined never to be a liability, she turned her passion into purpose. Mercy is passionate about becoming a solution provider, and entrepreneurship became the pathway to make that happen. Her journey has been nothing short of adventurous, a blend of sweet wins, tough challenges, and transformative lessons that shaped both her business and her character. Mercy's story is one of resilience, creativity, and the power of taking initiative, a true definition of what it means to be a campus hustler. Hi, Mercy. It's good to have you on the podcast.
Hi, Fatima.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
All right. Let's start this with Mercy. So, Mercy, can you take us back to the very beginning? What sparked your interest in baking before university?
All right, so I like to tell my friends that baking was not really a thing in my head. The only thing I had in my head was that I loved to taste good food and I loved to taste good baked products. I went for a 10-year-old birthday party while I was young and I ate this very fluffy cake. It tasted like heaven, but it was very little. I wanted to have more, but I couldn't have more. And since then, the taste of that cake has stuck. Fast forward to after school, secondary school, and my dad asked what skill I would love to learn. My mom loves to make us baked products. During the break, it was one of the ways that she encouraged us, like an incentive for us to read during break. So anytime we read, she would bake us meat pie. Sometimes she would bake us sausage roll. Sometimes she would bake us cakes. Sometimes she would bake us fish roll. So it was something that we always looked forward to. So I just thought about it and said, okay, I would love to learn baking. Prior to that time, I had already gone for a training in bead making, and I was very good in bead making already. But I just felt I want to try something else because I'm an adventurous person. I wanted to try something else. So I just said, I would just go for baking. Since my mom even bake and I kind of have an idea about it. And because there are times when we'll go to parties or there'll be a celebration and then we'll buy a cake, we'll have to cut the cake, and then the cake will not start tasting like. And because I had an idea of what a good cake tastes like, remember when I went for that 10-year-old birthday party, I couldn't just erase that taste from my brain. So I went into baking and I started watching videos to learn. I started from vanilla cakes, just normal vanilla cakes, and then I started learning some terms sometimes. I would go on YouTube. I remember days when I would just watch videos all through the night. Then one day, my mom started buying me some equipment. That was how I started baking.
Wow, awesome. That's amazing. That's amazing. And shout out to mommy and dad for all the support. So far, so good. All right. So now, Mercy, I would love to ask, you're a self-taught baker. What was the most challenging part of learning through videos and self-practice without having someone to actually hold your hands?
What you see online is not always true. They will tell you add so amount of baking powder, add so amount of baking soda. My sister, it is a lie. You will have to sit down, research, learn what makes this taste like this. I think that was the major issue I had. I had to try a lot of recipes.
Awesome. Okay. So now, tell us, how did Ercy Cakes officially start as a business on campus?
Well, I don't think Ercy Cakes started as an official brand. It started unofficially.
Okay.
When I got to school, I sat down. I said, okay, out of all the skills that I have, I am a multi-talented person. I can say that. I just sat down and said, okay, out of all the skills that I have, what is that one skill that I can monetize? So I sat down and decided, okay, let me bake to church. I started baking to church. And my pastors, my church members started encouraging me. They would tell me, oh, this cake tastes nice today. Oh, the cake didn't taste nice today. What did you do? What did you remove? What did you do? I would say my church was a learning ground for me before I now took it into the school. Let me mention, my church is dominated by students. So I was basically baking for students. Because I was baking for students in my church, they would go to school and tell people, their friends, their classmates, this person bakes a nice cake. Have you tasted that cake before? And that was how they started, telling people about what I do. And that was how I started baking in school.
That's amazing. Okay, so now, Mercy, I would love to ask, when I saw your bio, you made mention of having moments of success and failure. Can you share one major setback?
I would say the major setback I had was in 2023. I was robbed. I went to the market, yes. I actually went to the market to get some product and to get ingredients to bake on a Saturday. And it was a rainy day and I was robbed. My ATM card, my purse, my phone, the cash I held. And it didn't just end there. Someone just, gave me money for my business and it was withdrawn. I was back to level 0.
Wow. I'm so sorry about your experience. I'm glad that it has now become a story. Okay, so now let me ask you, what's the hardest part about being a student entrepreneur in University of Ibadan? And how do you juggle academics and entrepreneurship?
Well, when we suffer, there is actually no balance anywhere. And I won't lie, one thing that I prioritize is my health. I don't have a balance. I won't say that there is balance. I don't have a balance for my business and my academics. The only thing I do is I have a scale of preference. So when, it's just classes that we are going for, I know it's just classes, not tests. It's not you as a student of the University of Ibadan, you will know when test is arriving. You will know when your lecturer would likely give you tests. And when I have another, someone wants to bake a cake, and if I check, I can give this 2 hours class to baking or going to the market to get the ingredients to bake the cake, I would just give it up. But during exam period, my customers know I don't take any job. Exam periods are for academics. So there is actually no balance. One will suffer. Sometimes it will be the business. Sometimes it will be the academics.
Awesome. And thank you so much for answering that question with all sincerity. I love it. I love how sincere you were while answering this particular question. Okay, so now, Mercy, let me ask you. So far, so good. What are some of the lessons you've learned? And can you share some of those lessons with us?
One major lesson that I've learned as a student entrepreneur, you will need help. You will need people. You will need to go out. You will need to socialize. That's one major lesson that I've learned. You can't stay in your room. You can't stay in your apartment and expect customers to come to you. I understand the place of social media, but it's still people that will push your account. if you don't talk to people, speak to people about what you do, they won't know about it. So socializing is very, very key. And secondly, most people will not believe in you until you've shown them results. And another lesson that I've learned is giving your best to everything that you are doing. You don't know where that service or that product is going to reach.
Thank you so much for this. Give your best. Talk about your product as much as you can. Talk about it as if your life depends on it. Thank you so much, Mercy, for this. Okay, so let's talk success stories. So far, so good. Any success story or success stories? And if at all there is or there are, can you share any of these success stories with us?
Well, I'm still growing. I cannot say that I have a success story, but I would say that I have turning points where, things became better and easier for me. Earlier this year, when I got a grant that, helped me to get my baking oven.
Awesome. This is also a success story. Trust me, it's a success story. Congratulations to you, Mercy. Okay, so now, Mercy, let's talk future vision. Where do you see yourself in your brand after graduation? Do you want to practice? Do you want to work with your degree, or you just want to become a full-time baker, or you love to do both? Please, let's hear from you.
No, I was about to ask you that. Can I combine everything together? So yes, I'm combining. I'm doing both. I'm doing three things actually. I'm pursuing career in political science because I'm going to go into politics. Watch out for me, guys. I'm coming. So I'm a stock analyst level 1. So I'm going to pursue that as well after school. And yes, lastly, my business. Yes, you are going to soon hear about us. We're going to have a cake cafe soon, at least in the next 5 years, I hope.
Beautiful. And I wish you all the very best.
Amen. Thank you.
Quickly, before we dive into the second segment of the podcast, where can listeners find you in case they would love to connect with you?
All right. I'm on TikTok at Ercy Cakes, ERCY_CAKE. I'm also on Instagram, Ercy_Cakes.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. I'm definitely going to drop that on the description box. All right, guys. We are about to dive into the second segment of the podcast, which is How segment.
Campus Hustlers with Fatima Zakariyya.
We're going to be learning something specific from Mercy as a self-taught baker. Okay, so now, Mercy, tell us, how can someone or young people turn a self-taught skill into a sustainable business like you did? How can they do that?
Okay. The first thing, have a passion. Don't do something that you don't have passion for. If the passion is even to make money, please have passion. Have passion, or else you would be frustrated. There are days when you would, be tired of doing anything. So have a passion. Secondly, go on YouTube. There are resources online. Even tech skills, anything you want to learn, watch videos. At least, my mentor will tell me that if I've not watched 500 videos, at least 500 videos about a skill, I'm not ready to learn that thing. So at least give yourself 500 videos. Give yourself a benchmark of 500 videos to watch on that skill. Watch it to the point that if they wake you up and ask you about it, or you find yourself in a room where you have to discuss about it, you can say something about it. And then from there, you can now go and pursue a paid course, right? You can decide to pay and learn the skill. How to turn it into a sustainable income. Number 1, you will do free jobs. Yes. So start where you are. Go on the job. Practice is what they say is what makes perfect. So if you don't practice it, you will not master it. That is what makes people professionals.
Thank you so much for that, Mercy. Okay, so now, Mercy, I would love to ask, do you have any tips or advice for student entrepreneurs alike? And if you don't even have for student entrepreneurs, do you have any baking tips you'd love to share with fellow bakers?
I would love to say that you are the writer of your story. Live in the moment. Document everything about now. It is what will make your story sweet. It is what will make your story unique. Document everything now. Don't wait until you're big. What you have is enough. That's basically what I would have to say.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this, Mercy. It has really been an interesting and amazing moment with you. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Fatima, for having me.
You're welcome, Mercy. All right, but then, Mercy, before you go, I have just one more question for you. I hope you're ready for my final question.
All right, bring it on.
All right. So, Mercy, if you weren't a baker, what funny business do you think you would accidentally end up doing on campus? You are an adventurous person, and that's why I'm asking you this question.
I think I might become a organizer.
What's that?
There is no organizer in University of Ibadan. The moment you enter into the gate, if your tire goes flat, you would have to remove it and take it out of the school to fix it. So yes, that's...
Wow, but this is so funny. All right, like I said, Mercy, it has really been an amazing time with you. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast.
You're welcome once again. Thank you so much for having me.
And I wish you all the very best in your endeavor.
And you too, Fatima. Thank you so much for having me again.
All right, hustlers, that's all we have for you today. I hope this episode ignites your entrepreneurial fire. Rate and review this podcast using the hashtag Campus Hustlers on all social media platforms. If you're yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button now. Until next week, stay hungry, stay focused, and keep hustling. Bye-bye.
Campus Hustlers with Fatima Zakariyya.